Hey everybody, Cranky Motorsports on Motor Monday. So working on the BFMS in my red Roper here. The only things I've done so far today is I put a fuel filter on it, finished off the fuel line going into the fuel pump, put the pulse line back on from the block to the carburetor, and I was actually able to save the little spring that goes in that line to keep the line from collapsing. So when I put that pulse line back on, there's actually a coil spring inside of it so the hose doesn't pinch off and lose your vacuum. That's another reason why these things don't run sometimes. So what I'm working on right now is putting some spark plugs in it. I like to use a Champion H10C. Probably get a little bit of a view on that guy. I don't know how well you'll be able to see it, but Champion H10C. These are the plugs I like to use in pretty much all my Onins. The P220G uses a different plug. So make sure you check the gap on them. Yep, there's one. So they're going in. And I misplaced my spark plug socket. It's around somewhere. With all these projects, I leave tools on different places. And I was trying to be good about keeping them all in one place while working on these projects. But then I switched my tractors to the other side of the garage so I could finish putting them together. And lo and behold, I misplaced my socket again. But regular old 13/16 socket will work just as well. So that's what I got here. Be careful when you put the plugs in that you don't chip the ceramic because they will not work after that. These have a washer on them, so you got to kind of crush it a little bit. So you don't want to over tighten them, but you want to make sure that washer does get crushed so they have a good seal on the head. So make sure you do that correctly. And again, most of this stuff isn't really news to anybody that's worked on a small engine that has a crushed gasket style spark plug with a flat seat. You should know that by now, but I just like reiterating some stuff. So. Alright, plugs are in. Next up is the plug wires, so let me go grab those. Alright, now on Onin motors, the coil, let me actually show you. Inside the coil, you can't really see it, but inside here in the coil there's actually a pin that sticks out that pierces in the end of the plug wire. So you can see there's like a hole in the end of the plug wire. That's where that pin goes into the plug wire. And these originally had solid core wires instead of like your spiral cores that you have in most high performance automotive applications. I know some people have used spiral core and they've had pretty good luck with it. I still like using solid core myself. These are actually something that you would get, oh wait a minute, this is a spiral core. I must not have put these on because I'm not a fan of using spiral core. I actually have some brand new solid core ones that I'm going to put on. Over here somewhere on my wall of plug wires, I had a package. Lug wires are done. Fuel line is run to the tank. Fuel pump is done. Pulse line is done. Carburetor's on. I need to work on exhaust, and I may take the exhaust system off of another Onan I have sitting over here, because I want this one to try to be original, so I can have the original muffler off of an SS16 and all that stuff. I like aftermarket exhaust, but this one I'm trying to make it look as original as I possibly can, and that's probably the only good muffler I have still. I do have one that has a stack on it. Let me go grab that and see if I like it on this machine. Nah, I'm probably not going to do this. Let me see if I can get a better picture here. Wide view. I have this guy, which I had on my GT18 when I had the snow cab on it. I could easily stick this on, but you can tell the pipes are a little bit mashed over, so I'd have to spend quite a bit of time getting that right. Plus, this pipe weighs quite a bit. Even though it looks really cool, I'd have to support the bottom of the muffler somehow, and I'd have to get the angles on this thing right to get it to work. I don't know. I don't know if I have enough pipe to hook this up to where it would work well. We'll see. Maybe I'll try to mess around with this later, but I do have the original muffler on this motor over here. Yank it off. This motor came from my buddy Peter Malloy, and I think this one will run. I'm almost to the point where I can actually test to see if it's going to run. Ooh. Well, you hear this noise? That sounds like there's something wrong with this, and if you look at this muffler, this is actually welded right down the middle, so dead giveaway that somebody's been inside this muffler before. So this muffler is not going on this motor. If I can get these pipes off without wrecking them, I may use these pipes on that big stack, and then I have an extra engine tin and stuff. So let me try to get to work on that and see what I can do. Well, I was able to get the muffler on the other pipes, and it has the big stack on it. Now, again, I'm not 100% certain I want to put this on this tractor, but I like it. The only annoying thing to me is, if you look at how the muffler sits, this end of it towards the front of the tractor sticks out really far, but you do have to keep in mind that the hoods on these aren't straight. They're actually tapered. So that, even though it looks funny right now, may fit perfectly because that's a factory muffler. And those are the factory pipes that are unaltered. So I may run this exactly like that. Even though it's got that big 2.5-inch pipe on it, it's a stock muffler. The pipe is just there to get the exhaust away from your face. And so I was going to try to fit the nose cone in the hood, but I don't have the dash on this yet, and I can't put the dash on until I finish some wiring. So I'm going to do some wiring instead, and that'll be a lot better. So this is the original charging wire from this motor. The stator, or the rectifier that I put in here, actually has a different pinout. It's from an older model. This is the newer style plug. The flat ones, the old ones had two on top of each other and one on the side. And now that I think about it, I gotta look at the pinout on that because I don't know which wire's which. I did order some new rectifiers, the new Onan style, and I have not gotten them in yet. So they're supposed to be here today. I should probably just wait until that thing comes in and swap it out because, yeah, I don't know what the pinout is on this, so now I got to take it back off, which I just put it on.
A couple of days ago, so I'm just going to take this guy off. Okay, because all the bolts are brand new, it'll come right off without breaking. Oh, when they break, it's not bad either. They come off easier when they break. So for any of you guys that ask what's the easiest way to wire stuff underneath the dash, this is the easiest way to do it. Do it before the dash is on the tractor. That way you can guarantee you can reach everything. And you can do a nice job on the wiring, and then once the dash is on there, if you have to kind of splice some of the wires together to get everything to fit, you have very little left to do. Alright, so This is my rectifier. And of course, this one, wait, I can just barely see it. I can't even read that. It does say on here which wire is which. But can't really read it. So I know this top one is one of the AC terminals, but I can't read the other ones. Now I do have the plug that matches up with this on the motor for the mongrel.
Oh wait, I see it. So it's AC, AC, and B+. So the two AC wires come from the stator. Oh, there's the mailman. So that means my rectifiers are in my mailbox right about now. Was the mailman. I'm gonna go grab my new rectifiers. I'll be right back. All right, so this is a new style Onan rectifier. Doesn't look like much. It's a little tiny piece. 3 plugs on the bottom. Didn't come with instructions, so what I'm gonna do is go walk down here to my Onan P220G, which is the only motor I have that has one of those style rectifiers on it. So on this guy, the rectifier is right here. Let me go around and look at it. So it looks like the 2 outer wires on either side are the AC wires, and the middle one goes back up to the ignition switch. That's how I have this one set up. And this one charges, so that's what I'm going to do on the other one. The 2 outer wires go to the AC ports on the stator, and the middle one is going to go up to the ignition switch. Because if you look at that versus the original one, that's the original one, that's the new one. A lot more compact, modern design. So again, AC, AC, and B+, which goes back to the ignition switch to charge the thing. Doesn't really matter which way you hook these two up because they're AC, they're alternating current. So basically the wave just pulses back and forth. So just like taking a plug that's not polarized in your house, you can flip it over and plug it back in. Whatever appliance you're using will still work. So this is what I'm going to use on this guy. The nice thing about these, you can literally mount these things anywhere. So if I wanted to screw this up here on the battery heat shield, I could put it there. I probably will put it down here just because that's where it originally was, and the wires come from the motor and plug right into this guy. So I'm probably going to put it right, well, I can't have it touch the frame, somewhere around here. You just got to make sure when you put it in that these terminals, whoops, can't see what I'm doing. You got to make sure when you put it in, these terminals don't actually ground out on the frame. So I believe these need to be grounded. The way these go in the engine tins on the other motors is they actually slide in from the bottom and you use a regular 1/4-inch bolt. I guess I could do that on this one as well. Mount it, I could mount it just like, actually just about like that if I wanted to, or over here. Probably over here is better. Yeah, maybe that's what I'll do. I'll just screw it in from the bottom with a bolt. My AC, AC, and B+. B+ wire will come up and go to the ignition switch. So I'm going to go ahead and hook that up. So fast forward a few hours and I pretty much got all the wiring done for everything except the headlights, which obviously aren't in it yet. I got to switch the wires for the back lights because they do work, but I have the thermal flasher hooked up so they flash, but I accidentally hooked up the bright filament in the bulb to the parking lights. So when the flashers are on, you can't even see the flashers. So I got to switch the wires for that, but I have power. I got a battery in it. I cranked it over so far. It hasn't picked up fuel yet, so I might have to use just a whiff of starting fluid or something to get it to start. But I'm going to go ahead and give it a shot, so hang with me here. It cranks over really good and should fire right up once I get fuel to the carb. Let's hope it along a little bit here so I'm not cranking it forever. Let me just double check, make sure I got oil in it. Yep, nice clean oil. That would be a disaster. All that work and I blow the motor. Alright, so do not stand there. Oops. Let's see, choke. Well, she's running, but she got gas to the carburetor, but it doesn't want to run on gas, so... Oh, wants to now. Or maybe not. Okay, so, doesn't want to pick up fuel. I mean, I got it in the filter, but probably not enough in the carburetor. It may still have somewhat of a weak fuel pump. This is the fun of trying to get it running and diagnose the stuff. So, here we go again. very, very happy with that. You turn the key on, voltmeter works, the lights work. I'm very happy with that. Motor runs good. Had to do a little tuning on it, but that's what happens every time you do it. So thank you guys for watching Cranky Motorsports. This has been a very successful day. This one is pretty much ready to rock and roll.
And it's my favorite color.
Yep, it's Jakey's favorite color. So I got to do some odds and ends, finish tying the seat in where it needs to go. I got to figure out if this is the exhaust I'm going to use. It's the only muffler that I have that doesn't have a hole or a pipe ripped off it, so I think I'm probably going to leave this on. I might chop it down a little bit because it is a little bit high, but it sounds good, and it doesn't leak too much. I didn't put the clamps on yet because I'm not sure if I want to keep it on, but I'm very happy with this thing. So the way I got the switches set up, I used an aftermarket ignition setup with the key switch, and it came with a pigtail. I have a voltmeter here, so when I turn the key on, the voltmeter goes up. When I turn the lights on, the voltmeter lights up green. And then, so this, the first switch is for the regular headlights. The second switch actually turns on this indicator light to tell me that my flashers are on. And like I said, I do have to rewire them. I have them backwards. But yeah, choke cable works, throttle cable works. Everything on it works. I have the new shift decal down there, even though you can't see it. That I gotta let dry because I put it on with some film for doing window tint, and it didn't allow the sticker to set quick enough. So I'm just gonna let it sit there overnight and let it dry. But that's gonna be a wrap for now. So the red roper's getting there. I still gotta do the hood, the nose cone, and a few other odds and ends. But for the most part, it's running. Runs good. Turnkey. Let's turn it on again and see how she sounds. Doesn't get much better than that. Well, I'm rather happy with that. Sounds good. You can hear the valves ticking. They all do that. That's because they had solid lifter cams, and you have to leave the flat tappets open a little bit, so they all clatter a little bit. Like I said, these ones are set at 8 thousandths on the intake and about 13 thousandths on the exhaust, and from what I can read, that's what the BFMS requires for these, so that's what I set mine to. And they were quite a bit tighter than that. Originally, when I opened them up, they were like basically 0 lash on the intake and about, I don't know, 18 thousandths on the exhaust. So I set them to 8 and 13, seems to run pretty good. Fuel pump's working. We'll see how long it keeps the fuel up to the filter. I did put clamps on my whole system like I told everybody. And the wiring behind the dash, there's a lot of stuff going on back there. But everything works. So thanks for watching Cranky Motorsports. Like I said, I'm on vacation this week, so hopefully you're going to see a lot of videos from me. This is just one of them. Have a great day. Thanks for watching. God bless. Keep tractoring.